com este conjunto. Bahia, axé, axé, Bahia, Bahia, axé, axé, Bahia, yo, 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 dá uma passada, no toque benguela, joga capoeira, no passo que samba, não fique de fora, é melhor vir dançar, pode começar comigo, yo, 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 yo. One-off thing, like here we are, we did an event, okay, we can go about our lives. So instead, we have reached out to dozens of people. I mean, the list of mestres, contramestres, professoras, professores, instrutores is something like we're somewhere around 60 people or so that have agreed to support this venture in the long term, to make this event available and free for students. It's a great opportunity for us to come together and to show what solidarity looks like. And so today, we're going to be kicking off the event. This is the first S.O.S. So it's not going to be the last one, but I just wanted to walk you through what's going to happen today. We have the wonderful Mestre Muito, hailing out of California, who has agreed to be the Mestre featured in this event. And then other Mestres and instructors are going to be joining him. And the reason why we picked him, aside from the fact that he's a damn awesome person, he's also a very close friend of Selo. He's been to our event. That's a little picture of him showing off at our event in Virginia, making everybody look bad. And we wanted to feature him because he's got, we believe, as our formados met and talked about who would we want to put in the forefront, and this is nothing against anybody else, but just thinking about the energy that he brings, thinking about the spirit of Capoeira, his group spirit for synergy and bringing people together. And we just thought it was a wonderful way to feature all of these different elements, music, because he has this wonderful online event that he does, I always have to, beatingbaula.com. And so he's going to actually start with that and put us through a little sample class. After he does that, he's going to be joined by 3 other instructors to focus on movements. This is about stylistic expression, and these are about concepts. Because your mestres and contramestres, professores, instrutores, etc., they're going to put you through the steps, do 100 queixadas, do 20 queda de rins, etc. This time that we're spending here, we're giving instructors an opportunity to help you think about capoeira and get a little glimpse into their way of framing when they're going into the roda. So it's more conceptual than it is about doing 100 kicks. So if you don't have a lot of space, it's okay. And then at the end, he will be joined by several of us, including Mestre Gaivota, who's already here, Tabareu, Contramestre Toca. And the reason why we selected these folks in particular is because we're in the United States, where the majority of us are not from Brazilian background. We didn't grow up with Portuguese. We didn't grow up with some of those subtleties that make a particular culture interesting and different from another. And we've all tried to navigate this space somehow. Muito Tempo became the first Mestre of Ethiopian descent. Congratulations there, brother. I became the first Mestre of Cape Verdean descent from West Africa. And then we have instructors here who have worked really hard down the East Coast to do this kind of work. And if you notice, this was sort of a slide from the West Coast. This is a slide from the East Coast. And we did that very purposefully because it's about time that we put that stuff aside. The East Coast, West Coast, we're starting to sound like rappers, you know, like it's kind of ridiculous. And so we wanted to feature the instructors from the West Coast because especially in the last year, we've learned that Capoeira really doesn't have those really rigid boundaries. So that's how we're gonna close the event. And without further ado, I'm gonna pass it right over to Muito Tempo to get us started with the musical component. Thank you everyone for showing up again.
Oh, thank you, Tigri, and everybody for organizing this. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, we're here for the same reason. And I think it's kind of like, you know, we could just do a fundraiser and everybody just throw in money. But we could also just take this time to raise funds and make it interesting for ourselves and share concepts. It's kind of like, sometimes you need a bad thing to happen to bring us together, which is unfortunate, but it's a lot of the times it's the truth. So let's make the most out of this while we're supporting our brother Selo. Chigri, can you make me a co-host just so I can share?
Let me apologize for that because you should
No, it's all good.
Been made a co-host already, but
no stress. Hey y'all, it's Sunday. It's still the morning over here. Okay, there's a bunch of teachers, a lot of people I know and I don't. Some people I don't know. So I'm not doing like a music, and then you know, learning on Zoom is challenging. So I think with music, music is very important in our group, and we always talk about the importance of music in Capoeira. And I think it's interesting. We say play music. You know, we don't say. I mean, it takes some work to get to that point, but I think it's something that should be enjoyable. In general, the music creates the vibe for the roda. So I've gone through phases in my kind of like music path where it was like I noticed it was really more about like me trying to shine. Like, oh, I want to do all these variations on the drum or the berimbau. Or then later on, I started to realize it's really like, how can I support the whole roda? Like, am I playing much louder than everybody else? Am I trying to shine over everybody else? Like, if you look at a band, the way that like a general band is constructed, you have like a singer and maybe like a guitar player, a bass player, and a drum set player. You know, when the singer is doing the verse, the drum set player is not like like the whole time in the background. There's a time and a place where you add those accents. And again, look, everybody, if your teacher says like, no, this is exactly how I want you to do it, please, by all means, do that. You know, I'm just giving you my experience and the stuff that I've learned and the things that I've come to teach my students. So, you know, it's not a long time to be working on something like music today or anything. So it's just like trying to pass some ideas. We also have different levels here. So I want to try to pass on something that everybody can benefit from. So I want to make it fun. I think in my music classes, I try to make it a light environment. So because if you don't feel like you can make mistakes, it's going to be hard for you to grow. All right. So please, if you make a mistake or if I call on you, look, there's no pressure. If I call on you to do something, you're like, I'm good. You know, I'm like, all right, no stress. But the more kind of lighthearted you can be about this, I think the better. And again, we're not always talking about lighthearted subjects in Capoeira music. I think Capoeira is a place for us to express different things, whether it's like a deep pain or, you know, some of the songs, Que bom estar com você. This is like how beautiful it is to be here with you all and to share this energy. So we have that range in music. So feel free to express those things in Capoeira. So one thing I want to pass on like a technique thing, and then we can do something with singing. All right. What time? I have until 10:45, right, Tigri? Or whatever time.
Yes, that's correct.
I have until a quarter till, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if you have an instrument, you can do this with any instrument. I have a pandero. If you don't have a pandero, get a plate. I have a birimbao, or you can just tap the table. It's all good. All right. So one thing that I want you to think about is like, let's think about counting some things out. If you can say it, you can play it. That's one of my djembe teacher used to always tell us. You know, if you can say it, you can play it. We don't. But then I've tried to like write stuff out, so because people learn differently. Some people are visual learners. So let's think about it like this. Let me write it down also. Okay. So if we have all right, we see that like kind of like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just count like that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bum 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 bum. If you have a birimbao or a pandero, you can go dun 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 dun. Or if you have the birimbao, you can do your open note or any of the notes actually. All right, it can be. Right? So that's one of the ways I want you to try to count. Another way is going to be a little 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, next one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, pretty basic. Some of you are teachers are like, this is so easy. What is he talking about? Don't worry. It's going to get spicy in a little bit. Okay. So in our group, that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is also the way we would call people out of the roda on the birimbau. If the game is over, or if you want to kind of call attention, so we would go like this. If I'm playing Angola, or whatever rhythm. Give the second one. Okay. Is there a question? I saw something pop up in the chat. We're good? Any questions so far?
Nope, I was just putting something in the chat to remind folks that if you remove your video during these parts here, the streaming is way better. So
Cool.
since we're not doing movement, feel free to just take out the video since Muito is featured right now anyway.
Cool. We good? We good, everyone? Well, I can't see you now. So if you have any questions, please feel free to throw it in the chat or something like that, or just ask. So let's try this. We're going to try, if you have a pandero, we're going to take that first counting and we're going to use it as a variation. We're going to use it as our entrance to playing our basic rhythm. All right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. All right. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Boom, cha. Then I'll count us in. We'll go 5, 6, ready, and bum, 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 bum. If you're playing the birimbau, look, we have people play different talkies. It's gonna work for any of them. Okay, you'll start off with that as your entrance. You'll go bum, 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 bum. Okay, and I'll count us in 5, 6, ready, and dum, 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 dum. All right, if you play the pandero, birimbau, or atabaque, whatever, it'll work. Cool, let's try it out. 5, 6, ready, and 5, 6, ready, and 5, 6, ready, and 5, 6, ready, and cool. We good? Now it feels like I'm talking to myself. All right. There we go. Thumbs up. Boom. Now it's there we go. 2 thumbs up. You can do the second one on your own. We're not gonna spend some time doing that. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right. Ga 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 doom. Doom ga doom. Doom ga 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 doom. Doom ga doom. Ga doom. Okay? These are just some ways that you can construct variations if you just think about different timings, okay? So now let's put them together. Let's go bum, 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 bum. All right, so we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. All right, so we're putting together the 2 different timings. All right, so it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. You can change any of the notes. It doesn't have to be all open notes, right? I can go dun, 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 ding, 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 dun, 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 ding, ch, ch, dong, ding. Any of the notes work. On the pandero, if I press here, I'm gonna tighten the skin, right? So it's gonna make the pitch go up. So I can go dun, ga, da, ga, ding, 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 dong, right? I can change it. Cool. Let's try that out. Okay, I'm gonna play the pandero, but you can play any instrument that you have. Ready? 5, 6, ready, and bum 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 bum. Dong ding, chit chit dong ding. Ready? 5, 6, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. 5, 6, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1. Boom, ba-doom, ga, doom, da-doom, ga. 5, 6, ready, and dunka, 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 dun, 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 dun. 5, 6, ready, and ga-ga-da-ga, ga-ga-da-ga, bum, 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 bum. One more time. 5, 6, ready, and bum-ga-da-ga, dum-ga-da-ga, bum, 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 bum. Hey, y'all.
Dopeness.
Can you turn your videos back on? Because I'd rather have bad.
So I'm gonna have you do one more thing, okay?
What's up?
If you go to your where you
Original
see
sound?
mute, yeah, and you click up on the arrow and then click on audio settings, just make sure that that automatic adjust microphone volume is on.
Oh, wait, sorry, hold on. Wait, go where?
So if you go to the click up right next to the
Yeah.
mute and then audio settings, and then you just about halfway there, you should see one that says automatically adjust microphone volume.
Got it.
Click it.
Boom.
There you go.
We in there. Thank you. Sorry if that was hard to listen to, y'all.
No worries. It's going great, man.
Any questions? Any questions? No?
Oh, you're awesome, man.
It's awesome.
Damn, I must be a good teacher.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. That was a joke. For those of you who don't know me, I joke around a lot. So don't take anything serious. Well, okay. Anyways, let's go back. Let's do one more thing with this. So we had the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Let's make it a little funky, y'all. I think when you want to make a variation a little bit more funky, you play less. We have our busy variations. If you're playing the birimbau, I like to think about, there's like our busy variations. All I was doing there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm playing different notes. It's just 1, 2, 3. You're just changing the notes. All right. Some things that are more funky, I would play less notes. Okay. Same thing on the pandero. You're gonna have or maybe just playing, you're adding more gaps inside the note, between the notes. Okay. So let's take this 1, 2, 3, 4, right? We had that 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Instead of on the 1, we're going to leave a rest. So it's going to be like this. Ba, 2, 3, 4. Space, 2, 3, 4. Space, 2, 3. You just don't play. So it would usually, the first note would be 1 right on the clap. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. We're not going to play that first note. It's going to be 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Gung, gung, gung. Gung, gung, gung. Gung, gung, gung. So don't play anything on the clap. So if I was playing on the pandero, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4 would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Based on that first note is going to be bum, 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 bum.
Hey, Muito, just one other recommendation.
Yes.
You hear me? I think the microphone is getting like overwhelmed with sound. Try turning or something away from wherever the piece is, because that's what's overwhelming the.
Oh, okay. The pandero's too close to the mic up here.
Yeah, I think so.
How about this?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you go into your audio settings, you go where it says mute, and you open up audio settings, which is like the last option. There's an area that says suppress background noise. You probably have it on auto. if you can put it on like low, that should help.
Okay.
Okay. What if I just play the pandero over here? Is this still bad?
No, it's
No?
if the try the one where I think that's a great suggestion.
Okay. All right, cool.
Just putting it to low might help.
This is
Usually
good
it's just
information.
the microphone getting overwhelmed.
Okay. Okay, mute and then audio settings
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
suppress background noise to what?
To like
To low.
Low. Better?
yes.
Okay. All right. Cool. So we're gonna go bum 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 pop. That's gonna be our variation. Okay. Bum 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 pop. Bum 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 pop. Bum bum bum. Let's say it. Bum 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 pop. Bum 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 pop. Bum 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 pop. Bum 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 pop. All right, let's try and play that. Here, bum bum bum. Let's just clean this. Dun 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 da. That last one is a slap. Dun 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 slap. All right, or yeah. Cool. Ready? Let's start just playing. On the berimbau, it would be. It would be. Dun 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 da. Okay. Which one would you? Okay, let me do. I'll do it on the berimbau. Ready? Let's go. 5, 6, ready, and bum bum bum, bum bum bum, bum 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 bum. Five, 6, ready, and gun gun gun, gun gun gun, gun 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 gun. Five, 6, ready, and dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. 5, 6, ready, and dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. One more time. 5, 6, ready, and dun dun dun, dun dun dun, dun 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 dun. All right. Any questions, y'all? Who wants to give us a little taste of the variation? Any of them? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Put them together. Or the last one. Juba looks like he's in it right now, bro. He is ready to show us, ready to share. Come on, Juba.
All right.
No pressure. There you go. Nice. There you go. Good job, man. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Anybody else? Ooh, Valentina shut her camera off. She was like, don't even call me. Yeah, you're gonna do it. Let's go, Valentina. Come on.
I'm always up for a challenge.
Yes.
All right. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but I'll try.
What, that was good. One more time. One more time. One more time. One more time.
Okay.
Oh, everything was good. You just needed one more open note. You went dun 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 chit chit dong ding. You were just missing that last open note.
Okay.
That's all. But that was good. That was good. Okay. Cool. Let's move on. I'm just curious. Are there certain? There's something that I want to do, but I was just curious to just chat with people real quick. Are like, what are some difficulties people have with music, or if you have any general questions with music? Anybody have anything?
One of the difficulties that I have still with music is I have a really hard time differentiating between the high and the low notes. So for example, if somebody is playing the gunga and they switch from, say, like Sabento Grande de Angola to a Bengala, I literally have to look at the binimbau to see where the vaquette is going. I can't pick it up with my ear.
Okay. There could be a few things going on. I can't just say like, oh, it's exactly this. And then I don't know how you are with music in general, like the challenges you face, because all of us hear things differently too. Sometimes it's just like the person who's playing the birimbau. I'm not trying to put the blame on that person, but that could be one of the things if it's not your own issues with how you're hearing it. But I think I don't think it's a problem to look. Sometimes I think music is very much a feeling for sure. So when we're playing in a bateria, there's a lot of things going on, where it could be like clapping and singing and all the 3 birimbaus and then other pandero and the drum. So sometimes we really have to just start to develop our focus to hear everything individually. Because it's like when you hear a song on the radio or like a band, you can kind of choose to hear it as one piece, or you can like just listen to the bass. You're like, damn, the bass is doing like a crazy little run right there. Like, I think that's more of like a musician's ear, like training to hear. So I would say maybe something that you could practice is like trying to really listen to one instrument instead of listening to all of the instruments as like, as a whole orchestra. Maybe you just listen to the viola. I mean, I don't know how your bateria is set up, or like which birimbaus y'all use. But listen to one birimbau and see if you can hear the difference. Because if you're listening to it as a whole, then you might be hearing an open note from the medio, and you're thinking it's like the closed note of the gunga. And also depends on how y'all tune the birimbaus too. So it could be a number of things.
One of the things that's interesting though is I feel like when the rhythm is more of like a swing, if you will, like a Sabento Pequeno or Angola is easier than like if it starts to have like a even pace, if that makes sense. Like when there's pauses in there, it's easier to, like you said, feel what you're supposed to do in the hada.
Yeah, I mean, there's also less going on. It's probably easier to sing because the volume is a little bit lower too, and it's just not as loud. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Cool. Yeah, for sure. Any other questions? One more before we move on. If y'all have any, no?
I see. I don't know if Ligeiro has a comment here. I don't know if you want to jump in with a question.
Oh, where's? Let me see. In the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
So assuming that we repeat the same short talkie in one measure, like Samento Grande, Angola, etc., the counts that you put up, is it 2 sets of counts per measure?
Assuming that we repeat the same short talkie in one measure. We got a musician in the house, y'all. There we go. It depends for, it doesn't have to be too, you can extend it or you can make it short. If you're asking what's the shortest amount that you can do for it to get back on the rhythm. So if I'm playing dong ding, chit chit dong ding, bum bum bum, bum dong ding. I can go 1 2 3 dong ding, 1 2 3 dong ding. I would probably do it longer. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 dong ding. Depending on the group, they might think you're calling them out though. You know, so there are certain things that you have to be kind of aware of. If you're gonna mix it up, but if you mix it with the other one, bum 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 gung 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 dung ga dung gung dung cha dong ding. I think it's kind of nice when we extend the variation a little bit. This is not a hardcore rule. I don't think that really exists in capoeira. You know, I'm not sure if that answered your question, Ligeiro. Okay, great.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
About doing these breaks, when is most appropriate, if you will? Because sometimes people start going off with breaks when there's like a verse going on. When might you recommend good times to fill in that space?
That's a great question. You know, we want to be, like I said earlier, we want to be mindful, and everybody's gonna have a different opinion when it comes to music. Like what's best for the roda. Somebody's singing a ladainha, you know, if y'all have those in your groups, yeah, it's like a song in the beginning of the roda. Somebody's telling this story, and it's very meaningful, you know, and then you're on the viola or one of the berimbau, they're like, yay! They start singing and like, Bahia minha Bahia. Okay, it's too much. That's the time when we need to kind of like ease back. Let the person tell the story. We said that in the, we're talking about the band. The drummer is not just going crazy while the person is doing the verse. Again, you got to feel it out, and then everybody's school is different. But I would say a nice place in general to put the variations is like right when we're getting into the chorus, or we're like kind of leading into the chorus. So if I was playing a song, again, this is not a rule. These are just ideas. You're going to see people do it at different times, okay? But just to help you, especially in a more basic idea of it. So if I'm going, what's a song? Let's say I'm going to sing O Areia, all right? E o areia, o areia, o areia, o areia, o areia, o areia, o areia. So when the person is doing kind of like the first part, I'm allowing them a chance to get the song out. And just as we're getting to the chorus, I can start kind of like pushing up the energy for the chorus to come in. That's an idea. You don't want to just go non-stop with variations, because then I could think it can just become distracting a little bit. Cool. We got 2 minutes, y'all. We don't have a whole lot of time. Just let me throw this one idea at you. The music, there's a game in the music too, right? With what we're saying and what we're singing, and just knowing, you should know what's a big barrier for a lot of people, especially who don't speak Portuguese, is just singing in a different language. So, you know, you should definitely know what you're saying, at least in the songs that you know, because you're going to you could be calling for a certain type of energy that's doesn't make sense in that moment. You know, and even with the verses, if you don't speak Portuguese, there's a lot of things you can do with verses. You know, you can do melodic variations, all right, just saying the same thing, because sometimes people feel like they need to change the song because they don't know what else to say, right? So I like when we let a song go for a little bit of time, right? You don't like to go to your favorite club and the DJ is playing 2 seconds of a song and then they switch to the next song. I personally find that very frustrating. You know, they don't even get to the hook, you know? So it's the same, I think it's the same thing with capoeira music. You want to let that song marinate. You want to let it simmer, especially if the chorus is just, it sounds so nice. Why change it? You know, it could go a lot. Some groups will have one song per game, one song for the whole game. I'm not saying you have to do that, but they'll change if there's a change in the energy. You know, maybe that somebody got a rasteira or a volta ao mundo or a chamada or just something happens to break the energy, then you change. But if you're just like, oh, sim, 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 oh, now, para now, eh, and you're like, oh my God, you didn't even finish the song. And then there's a game, even in that, like melodic variations. I think that's a fun way to hang out in the same song. So if we're saying, so it's a, chin, 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 lá vai viola. Just that song. You can go, yeah, lá vai viola. Chin, 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 lá vai. E, lê, lá vai. Chin, 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 lá vai. Oh, lê, lá vai viola. Chin, 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 lá vai. E, lá vai viola. Chin, 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 lá vai viola. Lê, lá vai viola. You can do that for a long time and it won't get boring. But there's also, I think, some rodas that I've been to, when there's this call and response, it almost becomes like a mantra. You know, you get that energy, and then people kind of just really lock into that repetitive sound. I think as humans we crave repetition. There's something about repetition that's very comforting for us. So when you break that too fast, it becomes a little startling. But yeah, any questions? Just some things to think about.
I know we're right on time right now. So what I was wondering is if we can have each person just drop in the chat one takeaway, two takeaways, something that really, for the purpose of music, resonated with you.
Ooh,
Whoa, I know, right? So one thing that you're taking away, because I'm taking notes here, and I have at least like 7 or 8 things that I'm like, I need to be thinking about this, passing it on. So take a quick minute.
I'll just do it audibly because I'm here and I'm away from the keyboard. But I've been part of rodas where changing the song means ending the game. And I wasn't aware of it. And so I would, I flipped the song and the Contramestre inside turned around and looked at me like, and I was just like, I'm lost. I have no idea what's going on. And he stopped the roda and he explained. And so I would say, know where you are if you're not at home, and be very observant as to how they deal with their music, just so that you have a better understanding. Because like Muito said, that it's different from place to place.
Thanks, Taba. And I see some really awesome takeaways here. Muito. I don't know if you're reading it also, like something that's standing out to me is like respect the storyteller when doing the variations. If you can say it, you can play it. Writing things out as a way of, taking it step by step. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Take your time, find a groove. Musical vocabulary, balance between instruments. Right? Simple variations can go a really long way. Let it marinate. I did write that one down too. Let it marinate. Know what you're saying, thinking about continuity. And one of the things that really stood out for me was, and I had never thought about it in this way, there's a game in the music too. And I think that's a really wonderful way for us to move from it's very short time, man, but you left us with a lot of things to think about. And that's what this space is supposed to be about.
Can I just say one thing? The last thing I just remembered. A quote that I heard one Mestre say that really stuck with me was with what regards to music. Mestre Moraes, one of my favorite singers in Capoeira. He said, o capoeirista não canta, Ele encanta. So it's like the capoeirista, I mean, it sounds better in Portuguese, but the capoeirista doesn't sing, he enchants. So it's like, and then he was saying that he takes people to another realm and allows their kind of like spiritual body to play in a different. It was really beautiful. I was like, damn, that was really dope. So I just wanted to leave you with that.
Yeah. And maybe there's something to be said to the fact that he was nominated for a Grammy. So, you know, there's a beauty in capoeira music. There's a game inside of the game. There's just so much for you to be paying attention to. And sort of this framing of the person who's singing is a storyteller, and he's a storyteller, she's a storyteller who's enchanting an audience is just simply a wonderful way to be, to visualize what that looks like. Even if you're on the agogo, you're part of that enchantment, and that's a really beautiful takeaway. We've been doing shout outs here. We see Professora Moreno in the house now. So thank you again. Can we unmute and give a round of applause to our boy over here?
Yeah, thank you.
Again, you have the biddingbaula.com options there. You have options to do like 3 lessons to just get a groove for it. There's an option to do a few more. There's also a yearly option, and Muito's constantly updating that information, and just did a wonderful demonstration of what that looks like. So at this point, we're going to make a little bit of a pivot. So if people want to take a minute to just stand up and start moving, stretch a little bit, because we're going to bring in Saracuru to sort of lead this movement concepts component. Muito Tempo will be back after that. And then Pavao and Chegado is going to finish that section off. And then we'll finish today with a palestra about experience and how to navigate through this world of capoeira, especially through the lens of a non-Brazilian capoeirista. So literally like a minute or 2 to just get your groove on so we can get started. Thank you.
Take this time to say what's up, Contramestre Tigri. What's up, Contramestre, or Mestre Tigri, sorry.
Hey, what's up, Juba?
Contramestre Tabareu. What's up, guys? Haven't seen you guys in like 12 years.
Yeah, it took me a minute to see what's up. I was like, is that?
I know.
That
I'm like full pandemic mode over here.
Instructor Juba.
What's
I'm
up? What's
so glad
up?
You're still in it, man. I'm so glad you're still in it, bro.
So we got 2 Jubas
man.
in the house.
That's right.
Fala, galera. Som. I watched the whole workshop, by the way, okay? From beginning to end, the whole thing. I loved it. I love the structure. You know, we come from different groups, and my group in Mestre Museo's part is very, you know, everybody composes. I don't compose, I just play it, but everybody composes. But I learned very different. So it was really cool to see the structure and to think mathematically of where I can put things. So like you said, it's an easier structure to follow. Personally, it doesn't mean that I'm a professora, that I'm awesome at music. I'm trying to get better every day, and uncomfortable every day. Yes, because it's extremely uncomfortable, but I love it. And it's funny because I've been in capoeira for so long, but I just started to learn how to put my energy out into the roda like a couple of years back, like 2-3 years. I didn't know how to do that. So for anyone who's like, oh, I don't know anything, well, I don't know anything either. I'm learning. So
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
And I'm really gonna put that segue in there, Morena. Muito, can you stop sharing the screen? Because we're gonna make that transition. And just so you guys know, in terms of what's coming up later, is we're planning on having obviously another S.O.S. and we're thinking of music making. So a workshop with Mestre Deraldo, with Mestre Marquinho Goreba, with folks who do a lot of this, you know, some of the music that we sing in the Roda. They're going to come and visit us and talk about their processes for writing music. We might have, there's like one
yes,
maybe joining us. So
exactly. But don't look at the ground. Look, you need to look always.
I don't know if okay, Saracuru is already getting started here. So
I'm looking at
Well,
you.
anyways, I will put the baby to sleep and hopefully I'll be back to
all
work.
right, no problem.
All right, but I'll be here. You guys are the bomb.
Thank you. So let me go ahead and turn this over to Saracuru. Saracuru, where are you, brother? I see he's here. I'm gonna spotlight his space. I think he's doing something around concrete.
That looks nice.
No, right? Well, that's the thing about
Is that a
California. It's so
building or a
unfair.
giant,
Looks like it's straight out of a movie.
like a square tree?
Saracuru, are you with us? Looks like it. Was that him responding?
I think the workshop is following the shadows.
All right. Ooh.
And you got up on
I
the
think he was actually jogging around to warm up. It's what it looked like, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So he's probably like taking that minute. So while we wait for Saracuru, let me ask people to throw into the chat a few ideas for what you would like. Okay, so he's back. Keep this in mind. Before we leave today, throw into the chat, here's some things that you would love to see come into the space, because we have Mestre Lua, Mestre Pulmão, Mestre Calango, Deraldo, Marquinhos. So many different people are planning on coming into the space and they have a lot to contribute. So let's turn it over to Saracuru.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. So thank you, Muito, for the great class about music and stuff. I was gonna share just some little concept. My type of training are very basic. So it's like mostly like little basic, and we can train an ID. Since I know we only have 20 minutes and this time we can chat a little bit. How does it sound to everyone? Is everyone warmed up right now? We can do a little warm up at the same time. Sound good? Very good. I'm here, I have my two helpers here, Mateo. Say hello, Mateo. And Feliz. Very good. So we're gonna start over here. Let me just put this here. So let's just start let's start to warm up just with the jing. Everyone's gonna do the jing at your pace, just with the jing. Gonna freeze here. We're gonna do just 5 straight, 5 side, 5 around. Move. This. Sink. Okay? Sink side. Move. This. 4. Sink. Okay? Sink around. This. 3. 4. Sink. And switching up. 2, 3, 4, 5, sai. 2, 3, 4, 5, around. 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Chinga. I'm gonna stretch here. I'm gonna go down here. Stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Switch one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. So basically, we're gonna start the movement. I'm gonna decompose the movement, and I'm gonna explain to you little by little. So we're gonna start here. The sequence is gonna start like this. So I'm here. Shinga. I'm gonna go 1. I'm gonna switch 2. Okay. From here, I'm gonna go 3, 4, 5. Get at the hands and negative. And come back. One more time. So I'm going down. 1. I'm switching. Switch hands 2. 2. I'm gonna bring it down. Still protecting my face here. I'm gonna switch hand. And I'm gonna turn around, keep looking at my partner here. Il faisait fait KO. Okay, that's the hints. And I'm gonna stand up. Okay? Let's do it 2 more times. Jenga. Oi. 1, 2.
Yeah, we don't have to.
3. 4.
Professor Saracuru.
6. Let the hands. Chega. Foi. Apanhado. Troca. And chega. Last one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Everyone breathe once again. Give me 1 second. Can you guys hear me? Awesome. So this movement is just like a little movement like based on defense basically. Now I'm gonna explain to you how I will use it. It's kind of weird because through Zoom you can show the movement, but sometimes like people don't understand the movement. I love to do a movement with meaning, or like not just doing a movement because it looks good, but the movement need to make sense for me. So I'm gonna try to show you guys how I will use this movement in a heart, for example. Okay, so give me 1 second. I'm gonna do it here with Feliz. Okay, step back a little bit, Feliz. I'm gonna attack never to flinch. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna switch to negative, and I'm gonna switch for negative. I'm gonna switch for negative. I'm gonna block him. So since he's blocked, I'm gonna transform here. Negative and become positive. Okay. What? Coming. He's blocking me here. I'm gonna escape from here. Cabeça. Escape the cabeça. And back. Very good. Did you guys get it, kind of? Everyone got it? Does it make sense to anyone? Anyone have any question about the movement or any movement? Any question? Not really?
That was really well explained, man, step by step.
Okay, very good. So, awesome. So let me pass just one more movement, and we can talk about movement to capoeira or my vision or whatever else question you guys have. Sound good?
That sounds good.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's go. So the next movement is going to be with the same base. And so we're going to start here in the Jenga position. Same thing. We're going to start here. 1. This time we're going to come here. 2. In the middle. Like almost like if you can see, I'm sitting very low here. 2. From here, I'm going to bring these legs in a negative, in a diagonal and protect my face. True. Okay, I'm going to this weird diagonal. Usually we use a negative from this side. Okay, from here I'm gonna stand up a bit and I'm gonna pass behind and come back in my Jenga. You guys got it? One more time. So Jenga. 1, 2, sit low here. 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. One more time. 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Same thing on the other side. 2, 3, 4. Here. I'm gonna pass. One more time. 2, 3. Stand up. And I'm gonna pass. Okay? I'm gonna show you guys the second movement. And after we're gonna try to combine both. So I'm gonna come here. 1, meia lua de compasso. And I'm gonna come back here. I'm not gonna finish back. Look, one more time. 1, 2. My meia lua. I'm not finishing back. I'm gonna step back in here. And from there I can set up my second meia lua de compasso. Okay? One more time. So Jenga. 1, 2, 3. I come back here to set up the second one. Meia lua. And I finish in my base. Okay? One more time. 1. Finishing my base. Same thing on the other side. Jenga. Meia lua. Come back here. Finish my meia lua. Meia lua. Come back here. And I finish my meia lua. Very good. So I'm gonna try to put it together. Grab some water if you need it. 5 seconds and let's come back here. Hold on one second. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah, awesome. I just see like we run off of time, right? You just posted Muito who's gonna be back on. So I just want to finish like this last time that we have. If anyone have any question or anything you want to share or something like this.
One thing that I'll highlight, Saracuru, is you reminding us that movement for the sake of movement is never really a good idea, that it needs to be purposeful. So I appreciated that. And it has to have meaning.
Sure. Exactly. Thank you so much. It was great to see all of you guys. And I wish Selo a speedy recovery. It's kind of like weird to be able to teach through Zoom, right? But like we're trying to adapt as capoeirists. And I really hope Selo get soon better. And anything, you guys can count on me all the time. Okay. And I think Muito is on again.
Yes, thanks, Saracuru. Really appreciate it. And I'll say one other thing that really stood out to me that was really good, and sometimes we forget, is just like we finished the music class by like writing things down and counting. It forces you to be mindful of what you're doing. So like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and forcing people to hold those individual parts like what we call Kodak moments. So at any point, you're able to take a picture of that movement and you can put it up on your mantle with pride. So that was really, really a strong way to open up this conversation. So if we can unmute and give Saracuru a nice round of applause, please. And I also want to give an awesome shout out to your student who looks like he's like a white, yellow, or yellow cord supporting you in these movements. It's nerve-wracking, but that's beautiful to see young students stepping into that role. And for the young man over there that was helping us with the music. So thumbs up for that. All right, we're gonna turn it back over to Muito. Hopefully he's napped a little bit.
No, I was there. I was here the whole time. Sarak, somebody asked if you could show the movement. I don't know if it's too late, but they were like, can you just show the movement one more time? Somebody asked in the chat.
Thank you, Muito, for monitoring that.
Yeah, no worries.
Did you get it? Did you see it? Awesome, guys. You guys have a good one, and I'm still around. I'm still here. See you guys soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Sarak.
So I'm gonna pass it over to Muito again. And just so you know, if you've noticed on the top left-hand corner here, we're recording this. I'm gonna get the video. I'm gonna make it available to the instructors who are present, and they can forward it to the students that were not able to make it today. And you can also see the sequence again. I'm Muito. Take it away.
Cool. All right. This is what I'd like to focus on. Look, 20 minutes is not a lot of time, so I just want to do 500 mea luas. No, I'm just playing. Chigri was like, don't get on here and do a bunch of mea luas. I was like, don't worry, bro. Don't worry. We got you. We're going to pass the concept. But you should do 500 mea luas on your own time. That's really beneficial. I think one thing that I wanted to pass on that I feel like, we have different levels here, and I think capoeira constantly changes for us at different times in our lives, in our path, the longer we do it, it has a different meaning, and it serves a different purpose. One thing that I've kind of just been exploring more is just, capoeira has a lot to do with being in the moment when we play. We practice these sequences and these drills. So when we're playing in the moment, we can just react. It's not always like things are planned. So I kind of like putting myself in a challenging position just to see how I would react. Hopefully I don't get like knocked out or something, depending on who I'm playing. But I think one of the great things about this, at least during this pandemic, training on Zoom with students, is like there's things that you could work on your own that would have really supplemented your training when you came to the academy. So it's like showing people how they could train on their own. So I just want to kind of explore some movements. I really like being upside down a lot. There's a nice belief in certain capoeira schools and like in certain different like African traditions, like the whole purpose of, not purpose, but like one of the big things about inversions, like being upside down or putting your head close to the floor, is that the ancestors live on an inverted plane. So as we walk this way, they're under us. So the closer our head is to the floor, the closer we are to the ancestors. I like that idea, and I just enjoy just feeling free. I think that's one of the reasons why I do capoeira, is because I feel free when I'm doing movements. So it's not about like necessarily like here's a long sequence that we're gonna do. It's just we're gonna explore some different ways of like doing some inversions and being comfortable. Like earlier, we're like, don't do 100 mialuas. 500, but you gotta have some reps to build the comfort. It's not gonna just come from nowhere. Now is not the time. This is just like give you the idea, and then however much you want to work on it on your own, that's how much you're gonna develop. All right. And then also, I think throughout the day, we restrict our body from doing what it wants to do. Like we're sitting in the car, we're sitting at a desk. I doubt that we really want to be doing that throughout the day. We probably want to be stretching and doing some movements. So let's try some things, and then we'll put it together. Like we'll see how we can make it work within a capoeira framework. So first, we're just gonna sit down on the floor. I'm gonna have 1 second. Okay, sit down on the floor. All right. It's gonna be like we're doing a negative. We're gonna do one knee, and then we put the wrong hand to the side. Still sitting down. Just sit down. Down. And you put it back up. And switch. Down. And back up. All right. Let's go sit now. Boy, get an injury, stay, walk, stay, we're going to try the same thing with one arm now. Okay? One arm's going to protect. One arm's going to reach out a little bit more, not so close. Reach out. And doy. Play. Walk. Cinco. Eight. Set. Oito. 9. Good. As you can see by the way that I teach music class, I'm really big into the progression. I don't think we want to start with like the very hardest version of the movement. You don't have the flexibility or the strength to do it, right? So this is the progression. You're not gonna sit down in a hoda and start rolling around on the floor. All right, this is what you do on your own to build the strength and flexibility. So let's say we're gonna do a skiva. All right. I want you to try this. Skiva to the side and then sit down on the floor. All right. Skiva and just get it all the way to the sit down. All right. Try that on your own a few times. Go ahead. Both sides. Skiva and then just sit down. Down. Good. Okay. Cool. Let's move on. So now, if we're trying to get this low leg, right? This is the progression to get there. You would go Eva, go down, from here, go down. And here's the thing, as you volley out, you don't want to go here. Down, push back up, and volley. You want your body to go like that. Right over here. Down, over, and push out. So if we're trying to go Eva, and come out. Trying to get that low negativa volley. All right, so if you need to sit down on the floor as you do it until you build up the strength. Go ahead, try it out.
Open. Like being a high flex.
There you go. Okay. Very good. We're good? Just some ideas. Honestly, I like to warm up like that. I like to do that when I'm warming up, just moving around freely as I'm exploring space. Okay? Next, we're gonna get into a little bit of bananera stuff. If you have an injury, please let me know. Or if you have to make some kind of adjustment, don't worry, okay? So the goal right now with the bananera, couple things, make sure your hands are flat, and we're gonna try to grip the floor with our fingers, okay? So it's kind of like going like that. This is the floor, kind of gripping the floor with your fingers. We're gonna try to go, we can use the wall, or you can try it without the wall, or you can put your foot on a chair. Here's the goal, is to go from here, and I'm gonna go from one side, one weight, and then just shift. You're just practicing shifting weight from side to side. So if I was to use the wall, can you see me? I'm gonna come up here. All right, and I'm gonna shift from side to side, side to side. Cool. If you don't have a wall to do it on, put your foot on the dog right here. No, I'm just playing. Use the couch. And go from like that. Side to side. Side to side. Go ahead. A few times. Make sure you breathe. Don't hold your breath. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Cool, come down. Just to spark some ideas, y'all. Just to spark some ideas. Make sure you breathe. You gotta breathe. Don't hold your breath when you're in the bananera or doing any movements, okay? You don't have to be able to do any of these things to be a good capoeirista. I remember my mestre was like, there's people who can't do AU and they're amazing capoeiristas, but I think it gives you more options. It's just like increasing your vocabulary, all right? You have different ways of expressing yourself. If I'm moving and if I get caught in an awkward position, but I know that I'm comfortable on my hands and I can just calmly move my arm here and then transition into the next movement, I have more options in the game, okay? So I think that's a big motivation for me, is to feel free. I have that freedom to move, okay? Let's try this out now and building some a little bit more control. Our goal is to do an AU and stop in bananera. So the progression would be, if you have like a chair or you can use the wall, something that's not gonna move, okay? So if I'm here, all right, my chair is here, my couch or whatever, I'm gonna do an AU and then just try to go one leg on there and then hop down. Okay? Here and stop and come back. If you don't need it, see if you can also maybe bring your knees together when you're doing it. You can go here, AU, and bring your knees together. All right, and come back down. 1 and 2. And come back down. All right? Try that out a few times. Nice, Dylan. Okay, bora. We have just 2 more ideas with this. Okay? Breathe. Make sure you're breathing while you're doing the movements. I have to constantly remind people. So if you hear me say that, it's probably because some people are not breathing. Okay? Any questions so far? Make sure you grab the floor with your fingers, arms straight. No? Cool. So next part, a couple of options with this. If you're using the chair, you're gonna go here, touch. Now I'm gonna put this foot down. 2, and stretch. Okay? Boom. You don't have, if you want, you can try a full punchy. 1, touch, put it down, and over. Full, no chair, you land, pop, and come down, punchy. Don't worry so much about the direction right now. We're just trying to work on connecting the movements. Okay? You can just go to the stretch or a full punchy if you feel warm. Okay? Go ahead. All right. Alexis, are you okay? You have an injury?
Yeah, I had a spinal surgery a couple months ago, so I'm not allowed to do anything. It's puentes or marcos or anything.
Okay. I'm sorry. All right.
That's okay. I'm just gonna watch. Thank you.
Okay, great. Saw some really interesting variations in this. This is another great. Usually, I like to just watch people because I'm helping, but I usually steal ideas from people's, kind of mistakes, But usually, it's kind of like, oh, okay, that was pretty cool. You don't know what you're doing, but I appreciate it. So we had the au to the ponchi. Okay, if you were doing it on the chair, right? You're going like this, right? You're in your bananera and you're going this way. When you do a ponchi, you're going back. Same thing. If I'm going from a ponchi, I'm reaching over. That's one way we can work on doing a au with a turn. It's not a spin. Okay, there's a difference between a peão de mão and turning. So as I go up, I go here, 1, 2, turn. Okay? 1, 2, turn. So I'm basically going here, and then I'm going back. Bop, bop. Okay? That's kind of one of the progressions that you can work towards from the au, adding a turn. It's different from peão de mão. Peão de mão, you're spinning on one hand, right? You're going here. You go here, and then you spin. It's different. Okay? We're trying to go 180 turn, 180 turn. Okay? So let's just put this, because of the time, let's take these ideas and put it together with a kick. Okay, let's take meia lua de compasso. And we're gonna try to do it. Okay, if you're just starting, you're gonna do meia lua, finish, and then au. So from here, you can try to practice one where you stop. Okay, or you go here and turn into a ponchi. Or see if you can get that step. 1, 2, step around. Okay? But ideally, you use the mea lua, the leg, to help you get back over. All right? So you don't let it touch the floor. It comes down, 2. Right? 1, 2. Or 1, au, come down, ponchi, and keep moving. All right? Mea lua, au in the opposite direction. Let's try that out.
I just have one quick question. So
Yeah,
the mea lua compass right before you get into center, that's when you go into the au, correct?
No, you're almost completing the kick. It's
Okay,
it's about to come down. 1 and come back.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. No. Pavao. Oh, shoot. I just realized that I went over. Sorry, Tigri. Was I supposed to go to a 30 or 40?
No, this is good. We built in some flexibility for this very purpose because we started with Saracuru just a little later.
Okay, cool.
Mestre, any tips on how I feel like when I get into my bananera position and I start to try to put my hand around to do the turn, I feel like my legs just like I lose control of them. How can I maintain my?
Can I see you try like twice?
Oh yeah, that's trying to make me look bad. It kind of came out. Contramestre can't do movements.
I think you got it though. 1, 2.
Yeah, see, but I don't know.
Okay.
There's this weird thing where sometimes I feel like my legs drop.
Yeah. So basically, think about a couple of things. When you're spinning, when you're turning, you turn faster when your body is straight, right? Same thing, like if you think about like a ice skater, when they're spinning, they're just like, or a diver, whenever they spin, they go from here and close, right? Very fast spin. When we're going on our hands, when you have your legs completely straight, you're gonna spin faster, but you're gonna have less balance, right? It's gonna be easier for you to teeter. So you need to kind of like, right now you're doing your AU, but you're not stopping your legs from continuing. So your legs are bending over and then you can't stop it from there, right? I think it'll be a little easier if you bend your knees. If you do your bananera and your knees are bent this way, all right? You can't be bent this way. So when you're doing your bananera, and you come up, if it's here, a little bend will kind of like maybe stop you from teetering over. But right now you're going here and you're not stopping your legs. So once it gets past like a certain point, it's very hard for you to pull it back. So you just need to you need to step with the arm sooner. But you're very close. You're very close. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Something that I noticed Tabareu doing, which I was kind of having trouble with, is kind of like adjusting the base with the hands, like getting ready for the AU.
Yeah.
And if I don't adjust, then I totally have no balance. So I was just wondering if you had any thoughts about, like, when I do the kick, here, the kick, my hands are kind of in an awkward place for AU. So it feels like I kind of need to adjust. Just wondering if you had thoughts.
That's good to adjust. I think it's good because when we're playing, depending on the situation, let's say somebody gives you a hashtera, you might need to move your hands over. You're using this to escape a hashtera. I think it's good to be able to adjust. If you're here, one, and I need to move all the way over here, you should practice like that. Yeah.
Okay,
cool.
I'll be on the mask.
One more question.
Yes.
Any of the women have a question?
Mestre, muito tempo. Right here, Prof. Capeta.
Go ahead.
Once you get into the, what is the breadcrumbs that you can find when you have your balance in your hands? You feel like 50-50 over here, or when you go into bananera, is that a tip for you to feel that you are stopping over there, or that you are in the balance? Or
I feel like the second hand is the break. So I put one hand down. This hand stops it. That stops me from going over. It stops me. So I don't know if it's necessarily like, oh, it has to be 50-50 exactly. But this one is stopping me from going over, and then I can transition. But we were talking about shifting the weight from hand to hand. Valentina, did you have a question? Were you going to ask something?
Sure. When you do the turn, which hand is doing the turn? Is it the hand that stops and then you reverse direction, or is it it's the first hand that lands is the hand that does the turn, right?
So it's going like 1, 2, and then I'm shifting on this hand to 3.
So then you're stopping the movement but then picking up the movement again. So it's like you're.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think of it as a hard stop. It's a continuous movement. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of helping you control a little bit.
Thank you.
Cool. I know we're out of time. Was there one more other question?
I just wanted to mention too, so I've been doing acrobatics all my life. So the way I learned bananera was very different than in capoeira. And Professora Rizaginha, if we know who she is, she taught actually at a women's encounter a really beautiful way to just practice bananeras. And she started from a squat position, almost like cocorinha, with your legs squeezed together, and literally just popping the legs up and making sure your hips are over your shoulders with a nice straight back, and balancing coming down, pop it up again that way, and just going over and over and over again to increase the shoulder flexibility, your core strength, and knowing exactly where your body's placed in a bananera. So I just wanted to mention that because, you know, sometimes as us women, of where our bodies are placed as well is very different than how a man's body is built. So just knowing like your core and your body placement in your bananera is important.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. I know we're out of time. I would just like to leave you with explore movement. You know, I think the more you get, everybody's body is different. So what works for me might not work for you. You have to find your own. I'm just here to kind of like plant the seed, and then you take it and then you make it your own. But yeah, when you're at home or when you're training at home alone, that's a great time for you just to explore it. Like no one can tell you you're wrong at home. You know, you go to the academy for that, and that's why you have your teachers. Like you're doing it wrong, but at home, don't get an ego. But you're right. You're right all the time. Just do whatever your body needs to do. Okay. All right. That's it.
Awesome. If you guys can unmute yourselves and give a round of applause here.
Thank you, Mestre. Yeah.
Muito obrigado.
Thank you.
Really appreciated the piece around, you know, the freedom of movement, the breathing, which is really important. In capoeira, we don't talk enough about breathing, even when you're moving. I had spine surgery in 2018. And for those who know, I had scapular winging, horrible scapular winging, where I couldn't bring my hand this high at all. And they thought it was going to take about 3 years to come back. I came back about 6 months later, doing these kinds of brief exercises like shifting weight and understanding where your body is, and making sure that my body felt free and not sort of rigid in its placement. So the exercise you guys were doing against the wall, I think, is also a really important one when you're thinking about spinning on your hands. So as you go from one hand to the other, shifting the weight to one arm, probably make your movement a lot freer. So thank you again, muito tempo. We're gonna turn it over to Formanda Pavao and Formando Chegado. I'm trying to find them here. Oh, there you go. The wave is always helpful. So thanks very much. Let me go ahead and spotlight you, and we go from there. All right, take it away. I'm appreciating that atabaki kind of coming out of the light. It's like, da, 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 ba, da, da. Are you guys ready?
So,
Go for it.
hello. What's up, everybody? We're just finishing up on class right now, so we got some transitions going on right now. I want to say thank you so much, Muito Tempo, for that awesome workshop. Always I have to work on my hand technique and what I'm doing while I'm upside down. Thank you. I appreciate those little gems dropping wisdom out here. Really, I think a lot of us are all on the same page as far as how we can help better ourselves when we're teaching or when we're working with ourselves at home. Since we've been all in on Zoom classes and online, how do we continue to gain strength, find new balance, and develop that when we're working on at home? So we're going to kind of be right on the same page with this next concept that we got for you guys. Let me get a gallery view going here. You want to do that? Yes. Cool. So,
by the way, it's so great to see all of you. Hello, everyone. I'm Pavao, if you don't know me. And yeah, we're here in LA at this is our gym. It's called Counterbalance. And yes, it's thankfully still open. And then, and that's one of our students, Canel, in the background, who's going to be training.
Canel's going to come and train with us a little bit. So today, we want to talk about, I call this feedback loops. Feedback loops. So this is a steel mace, 10-pound steel mace. I myself, like Silas, also had a recent surgery. I had a full hip replacement. Okay, for everybody, FYI, for everybody. When we have injuries or we have things that need to be that need working on or need to be adjusted, we have to come back to ourselves and try to figure out how to develop our strength again. It's a matter of starting over oftentimes. So this tool is something I want to talk about because this provides something which is called a feedback loop for your body, meaning that I have to keep myself straight. And I swinging this, excuse me, let me just swing this for a moment. So me swinging this gives my body an idea of where it is in space, so that it's telling me, it's feeding back to me how where my center is. It's telling which muscles need to contract to hold me in this position, and it's re-educating my system as I move through these different swings that we use with this still mace. So this is an example of something that can give you an instrument that can give you a feedback loop. So today what we're going to talk about is how we use this feedback loop idea in Capoeira, and how it's our arms that really are that thing that gives us this same type of information feeding back to ourselves. So a lot of times we look at Capoeira and we work on a lot of leg combinations and different things that we can do with our legs and our kicks. So today I want you to think about what your arms are doing while you're in some of these positions, okay? And how they're feeding back to you information that is allowing you to build up more momentum, build up more speed, more power, and to develop your own sense of balance through that, okay? Sound good? Cool. So we're going to start with just our arms here in what we all do, which is our meia lua de compasso. So in our meia lua de compasso, I want you to just sort of, you can start standing up, you can just start moving your arms side to side here. And I want you to think about jabbing to the sides, to the diagonal in front of you, to the diagonal in front of you. Just warm that up. You're just kind of jabbing, kind of flicking your arms out there forward, right there to the diagonal in front. Nice, nice. So if I were to throw a martello right now, I would throw my arm forward first, and then I would snap that back as I threw my kick. So we're just gonna do that. This is just easy, just gonna throw it forward and snap, just throw it forward, snap. Start with the arm, thinking about almost like a jab going across, and then pulling it back as you snap forward. 1, 2, 1, 2. And feel how your arm is connected to that kick as you step across, as you reach across it. 1, 2, bah. 1, 2, bah. Okay. So again, I really want you to, however you have trained before, however your martello is, this is about what your arms are doing right before you throw the kick here. Okay. In the same idea of reaching forward, that other arm, my left hand here, is behind me and it's in my face. So now I'm going to do that same thing from the ginga. We're going to ginga first, and we're going to step parallel and reach forward. My left arm here now, my left hand, is going to roll over. Okay, let's do that again. So you're going to step and roll. 1, 2. Good. Step, across, reach, and roll. Good. Reach and roll. 1, 2. Again. 1, 2. Good. Let's do that on the other side. And go. Step, reach, and just roll your arm forward. Yes. You step, you reach across, your other arm picks up right there, and it begins to roll forward. 1, roll. Got it. Now, we're going to step into it with the meia lua de compasso entrance. So it looks like this. I'm going to step, begin to roll, and enter for my meia lua de compasso. And again, don't do the kick, just the entrance. Just the entrance. We're working on what the arms are doing before that kick happens. So you step across, you reach across, you roll into what will be your meia lua de compasso. Nice, and go. This is a little arm mill, a little swing of your arms, and go. Step, reach, and roll. And feel how that starts to drive the kick. 1, 2, and go. On the bottom. You start to extend the back leg, straightening it before it comes off the floor, and as your hands come down, you swing up for the kick. Let me step back a little. and go. You step, reach, roll those arms, and swim it right down into the kick. Good, so build up the energy from the top and go step, reach, roll, and let the kick go at the end. So continue, continue. Let me see you just go a couple of times. Jinga, nice and big. You can take it at your own pace. Really initiate this Melu Jigombasu from your upper body with your arms first. Feel the feedback that your arms are giving you, giving to your hips, and then transferring it down to the kick. Let that roll make that energy happen. You're rolling it from the top down to the leg and the heel. Good, a couple more times, let's go, let me see, let's watch. Jig and go. 1, 2. Good, jig. And 3. 1, 2. Good, and go. 1, 2. Really roll those arms. Exaggerate that, exaggerate that. And go. 1, 2. Nice, nice, nice. And yeah. Okay. Let's take that and we're gonna add on to that. We're gonna add into the beginning of that now. Now we're gonna charge up this compasso. We're gonna add some momentum now, even more. And I want you to think about charging a battery, like you are charging up your swing. So your swing is like this pendulum, and it's going boom, boom, bang, all the way around. Okay, that's what I want you to think of a 1, 2, and then an all the way full swing around.
Chegado
Okay,
loves his mace.
yo.
That's his other wife, by the way.
Get you one, get you one, get you one. I'm gonna start with that. So good. So we're gonna figure out how to make that happen. So we're gonna start with the skiva lateral here. We call skiva lateral. We're gonna swing in and step in for what we call skiva chegado. Then we're gonna do that roll and poof, come over to the front for the meio de compasso. Okay? So we're gonna start to charge that kick by starting with the skiva lateral. And we go. We're going 1, 2, and roll, 3. And you let the energy kick that you've built up, you let it explode out with the kick. Go. 1, 2, and boom, 3. Good. Yes, yes, yes. So charge up now. Jing, jing, jing. 1, 2, and go. 3. Good. Feel that energy that you're maintaining. Go. 1. That you're maintaining here. 2 and 3. And go. Pull back. Step in and across. Good. Good. Go, Dylan. Yes, nice, nice. Keep that arm rolling. Let me watch. Keep going. Keep rolling as soon as you're about to do the meio de compasso, your arms roll and go. 2 and 3. Nice, come on. Good. Vai, Mauricio. Vai, vai, vai. Yes, good, good, good. Awesome. All right, yeah, okay. I don't want you guys doing 1,000 compassos right now either. So, because we got some other stuff to do. So, good job. Keep that in mind. Keep that part of your training. You have to develop a way to give yourself feedback, which often comes from your upper body. Then you're transferring it down through your hips and into your legs to have the explosion in those kicks. Let's move on to another movement and another type of feedback loop here. So in this movement, we're going to start here as though we're doing a entrance of Chegado. Okay? Like we are crossed in the front, almost like we're going to throw this front kick, but we have this position, chest is facing forward, leg in the back is the one that is crisscross here. We're going to take this position and we're going to scoop under. Again, we're thinking about our arms here, and you're going to windmill your arms underneath. So let's just do that on that side really quickly. Just one side, go up and come back. Yeah, well, I'm just going up on one side. You're thinking about your arm that's in the back here, windmilling up. This is the feedback loop that we're going to try to develop, and we're going to turn all the way around to we're in the same position on the other side here. So it's a full windmill all the way around. You start by going up, middle, through, and down to the other side. Huge arms here. Go all the way. 1, 2, 3, and up. 1, 2, 3. Good, and up. Go. 1, 2, 3. Nice, and 1, 2, 3. Keep going, keep going. Feel how this upper swinging pendulum here affects your balance as you transfer from one side to the other side. Listen to what your arms are telling your spine and your hips so that you find balance through this position and you don't get turned over, that you come all the way around on both sides evenly. Good. Now, I would say keep your eyes not looking up at your hand in this position. Imagine your eyes are still looking forward, like I'm looking in my camera here, and I'm going to turn my head and look again back to the camera. So keep your head in a neutral position, your eyes turning from spotting the front back to spotting the front again. Boom. So we're going to take this into an AU right now. So once we get to here, we're going to swim up 1, 2, and now the hand on the top is the hand that's going to go down to the floor first. I'm going to take my front leg and slide it back as I pull my AU from there. Now there's a million different variations of different stuff here. There's AU trocando, AU defesa, AU esquisito, AU coluna, many different options from here. So you guys that have different options, different vocabulary, feel free to use that now. But what we're experiencing here is trying to swim around it and then deliver the action, okay? So let's see, let's go again. You guys just practice that now, go into different AUs. You can use whatever variation you might like, but really swing your arms around to develop that information coming from your arms to the rest of your hips, back, neck, and chest, and allowing you to deliver different types of AU here. Good, swing it around, swing it around. Good. Remember that this starts going up with your arms, okay? So if you were to come in from so say for instance, you came from the entrance of Chegado here, you would come up and then enter your AU or enter whatever it might be. So remember that you're coming in, you're going boom, and then swim up with your arms so that they're coming back down to the other side. Yes, compás.
Formanda, Chegado. So I just want to make sure I understand it. So like when you're moving the rotation, the arms are serving as a way to kind of orient you so that you're doing a nice clean slice through the air. Is that a good way to think about it?
That is a great way to think about it, correct.
Okay,
correct.
Thanks.
You are, if you had, imagine you had weights in your hands here, you would feel all of that transfer of that weight and you having to control that weight so it doesn't throw your balance off, which means you have to engage all of your core musculature to hold you in that position so that you can then use whatever, you can then harness the energy that you've created there.
Yeah, so you're more efficient with your momentum.
100%. Efficiency is exactly what you're going for here.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I'm going to show a couple different examples here. So if I go from here, and I love to start with this entrance of Chegado, going 1, 2, and 3. So I'll start this entrance of Chegado again, 1, 2, turn. If I pull this other leg back, I have another jump into it, that's adding another swing, right? You can have your entrance from here and finish with your AU, your finished knees. Pavao can do a esquisito. Esquisito, where you bring your foot back and roll. Out, 1, 2, yes. Kind of keeping the legs back, behind. Turn. 1, 2, Aú batido is there, right? Many different options for that entrance there. But let it start with your arms. Your arms are going to be the key to get you into a lot of these other variations.
Should we build a combo?
Okay. How much time we got? I know.
We got 15, right? At least 15 minutes? Mestre? Oh, I can't hear you, sir.
We can do about 10 minutes. Is that all right? 10 more minutes?
Okay. That's fine.
We can push it to, we can push it. So, here, no one's left. I think we're doing it.
So can we put these two movements right now together? Okay, so we're going to start here with first charging up our meio de compasso. We're going to step back into a esquivo lateral, then come in, esquivo chegado, then come through and throw the meio de compasso. Good. We're going to half ginga and turn and entrance of queixada. From there, you're going to windmill up, arms over, and do your AU or whatever variation of AU that you have or that you'd like to try. You can do regular AU or any variation. You can choose your own adventure at the end, whatever you're feeling like you can jam on. All right, let's go. So ginga first. Started off with the esquiva lateral.
Okay, all right. And here, esquiva lateral.
1,
Chegando, windmill, compasso. Half ginga, entrada na queixada, girou, and then however you want to end. AU de frente, AU de trás, AU esquisito. Let's go to the other side now. And I'll go a little slower. Here, esquiva lateral. Charging it up, windmill the arms, compasso. You're going half ginga, keep your focus on your palmer always. Entrada, girou, and then whatever AU you want to do. Let's go again. Ginga, and esquiva lateral. Chegando, compasso, meia ginga, entrada, girou, AU, any AU you want, play around with it. I'm going to start working some different AUs. And lateral, chegando, compasso, meia ginga, entrada, girou o braço, aqui. Different options. I don't want to jingle all the way off the screen here.
Good, Valente. There you go.
Let me watch a couple folks. Yes, sir. Here's Chegado back there. How many jubas do we have? 2 jubas? Oi, Mariana! Tá bonito, como sempre. Good, you guys. Looking nice. Let me see, Bridget. Go turn, enter. Yes. Way to adjust to finishing in front. I like that, Bridget. Good, Kaju. Keep turning. Keep turning. Go, so you're here. Yes, there you, oh, he was experimenting. Nice, nice. Okay, come back for just 1 second. I just want to touch upon something that's kind of important. Chegado's talking about like charging it up with these concepts. And it's very similar to expression, right? What differentiates Capoeira from a lot of other movement styles or martial arts? For us, it's expression. It's not like a robotic jinga, like, okay, everyone, it's really about utilizing the arms like your antenna. So really about faking your partner out using strategy. So much of this charging up your movement is about your expression and how you can utilize your expression into something objective or practical. So it's not just me jumping around, but it's actually my arms, boom, creating a dialogue, creating a vibe, and then that applying to a movement that we can execute. Right? Let's go a couple more times with this combo here. And Ginga, then we're gonna add a little something. I like long combos, so I'm gonna apologize in advance because now I'm gonna structure the combo. Okay, we're gonna stop here. Before we do the esquiva lateral, I wanna see a meio de frente, armada. Then you're gonna hit the esquiva lateral, the esquiva chegando, tá? and ginga. We're gonna go this way. Meia lua de frente, armada. Lateral, chegado. Come in, here. I think I've ended up too far over here. I'm gonna come back. Sorry, it's like a cartoon. Ginga. Ginga, I'm gonna adjust it just a little bit so that we don't move so far to the side. Stop right here, everyone. Perna, for you it's esquerda, for me it's direita. Vamos fazer meia lua de frente, armada, and here we go queixada. And then lateral, chega. Okay, so let's try it again. Meia lua de frente, armada, queixada. Good. Lateral, chegando, entra for compasso, meia ginga, entrada, braço from here. I don't want you to just do a regular, we're gonna go here, we're gonna turn, and I want you to pick up the front leg, but I want you to go into an out position. I saw something that Professor Saracuru was working on, so I just kind of wanted to tag on to what he did. I know he did queda de rins from an out position, which I chronically do in my game. So I always like to add it. Let's go here together again. And meia lua de frente. Armada. You guys with me? Queixada. Esquiva lateral. Really swing, swing. Come in. Entrance. Compasso. Half ginga. Enter. Go up and over. This leg comes up. Hold it there. Queda de rins. Good. Can we, watch please, can we switch the weight of the legs so that we pass from behind them? See? So we go meia lua, armada, queixada, swing into the lateral, swing into the chegando, rotate the arms for the compasso. The half ginga, oops, forgot about that. Here, arm comes up, bring it into an out position. A queda de rins, troca as pernas. Come out the other side. Open. Down into what we call esquiva da ginga with our hand on the ground. Okay, stop there. Do we have it so far? Should I slow down? Okay, I don't have too much time, so I'm going to finish the combo. Let's go. Ginga here. I'm getting my Chegado's in the backstage going, hurry up. Stop right here. Meia lua. Armada dois. Queixada. Swing here, here. Compasso. Half ginga. Entrou. Girou. Opa, pra cá, desculpa. Perna pra cima. Queda de rins, troca a perna. You're going to pass to the parallel. All the way down to esquiva da ginga. Reach your hand. Lateral shot. See? See or no? Can we do a couple more times? Vamos junto. Questions?
No, go for it.
Mestre, am I in trouble?
No. Taking the time you need to take.
Okay. Almost done. Let's go. 4 more times and we'll wrap. Right? Let's go. Meia lua de frente. Aqui. Armada. Esquivou. Entrou. Compasso. Meia ginga. Entrou. Girou. Subiu a perna. Queda de rins. Trocou. Passada por trás. Martelo no chão. Gingou. Isso, né, camarão? Go this way. Foi. Meia lua. Armada. Esquivou. Passou. Compasso. Meia ginga. Entrou. Girou. Abriu. Trocou. Passou. Martelo no chão. Can I watch? Let's go. Ginga. Everyone all together. Isso, Morena. Just watch Morena because I'm sure she's doing it right. Bye. Nice. Isso, Dylan. Good. Use that expression. I hope I didn't miss anything. Good. Good, Alexis. Good cocada. Keep going, cocada. Good. Nice, Magrela. Keep going. Step open, back down, reach, martelo do chão. Isso. Isso, tá bonito. Meia ginga, good. Entrou. Nice. Back down. Gallery view. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Last two, last two.
Right now, looking
Go,
good.
go, go.
Come on, come on, come on.
Last two.
You got it.
Go, meia de frente. Armada.
And charge it up. 1, 2.
Really big.
Do it up.
Here, have ginga. In, turn, open, in, switch. Martelo do chão, and you add a little something afterwards. Do that one, do that one. And go. 1, 2, 3, 4. In, charge it up. Have ginga. Entrou, girou, abriu, entrou, passou, martelo, trocou e compasso again. I added that little bonus round. All right.
Little extras.
I hope that was
Extras in
okay, you
there.
guys.
Yes, yes. Can I say one thing, one last little thing? This little part translates not only into movements that will take you forward in your awu, but it also translates into movements that take you backwards into awu de trás, into this part. So keep developing that swing, and you will see that you have two options there. You have forward options and you have backward options there. So that's another idea for that part of that feedback loop that you can create.
I just want to say, Capoeira, one of the most amazing things about Capoeira, you all know because many of you have been training for a long time, is really the community and the camaraderie, the love, the vibe, the energy. I mean, some of these people I see on the screen I've known for so many years. Some people I've never ever met, and that's completely fine. It's wonderful just to have this exchange and this moment together. I mean, praying for Selo and just really hoping that he feels the vibe that we're all sending him, right? Which I have faith that he does, because that really, more than the movement, who cares about what movements we did? Who cares about how many kicks we did, how high we flip, how great we sing? All of that is nothing when we don't have the community, the camaraderie, the friendship, the loyalty, the open mind, right? I know, I remember
the sharing also of knowledge bases of
from different perspectives. So.
It's really thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Mestre Tigri.
Go ahead, folks, unmute yourselves and give a nice round of applause here.
Yeah.
Great energy.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado por vocês.
Fantastic, guys. I mean, needless to say, everyone's been here. That what we can take away from today, if we were to kind of summarize it into a couple of words, is, you know, being purposeful in what we do, give ourselves permission to be free and to express, and, you know, moving your arms and remembering that that's also part of our capoeira just made it look so much fuller and fluid and beautiful. And yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we just completely forget, and the arm starts to look very sort of dead, because it's not about where the arms is, it's that you can see that the arms are part of what you're doing. You can tell when someone's arms just sort of go limp, and you can tell even when it's down here that the person is engaging them. So I really appreciate you guys taking us through these movements. As you know, it's impossible for capoeiristas to be like, you know, I'm gonna try to bring everything that I know into a 20 or 30 minute slot, right? This is giving you a glimpse into ideas, and I appreciate all of the instructors really sticking to concepts, things that people can take home and think about and ask their instructors. We'll wrap it up. That was scary. That was like a roar bark from like a lion's mane, right? It was like, I don't even know what that was. That was a bark or a roar. It's so this is a good time to sort of pause, and we have with us Contramestre Toca out in Massachusetts. We have Mestre Gaivota out in New Jersey. We have Contramestre Tabareu here with us, Muito Tempo. We have Chegado, of course, also who said, yeah, I think I might have a couple of things to say about my journey in Capoeira as a Brazilian. And the point is, we wanted to spend some time here thinking about toolkits for how to actually be successful in Capoeira as non-Brazilians, because that's something that's always brought up, but it gets swept over to the side a little bit. People could really benefit from learning about how folks have been able to navigate this space. And Capoeira has become richer. It's become wealthier because you have so many cultures infused. So while we don't forget, its roots and where this comes from, we need to continue to allow like a global or a world citizenship mentality in everything that we do. And that's what brings us closer together. So for the next 25 minutes or so, no, actually more than that, we want to give, apologies, hold on. I want to give people an opportunity to share a bit about their story, and then also some of the takeaways that can help students who are growing up in the United States and in Canada. I see we have quite a few of our Canadian friends here with us today. And we want to make this a positive conversation, not really one about, oh, look at all of the bad things that I've experienced because I wasn't this or wasn't that. We're very proud of our journey. Many of us 20 to 30 years training in the sport, and despite how individuals might behave, Capoeira is omnivorous. Capoeira itself doesn't really care where you're from. It's the individuals in this platform that either bring sometimes a little bit of their own knowledge or a little bit of ignorance into the process that can shape how we navigate the space. So I'm wondering if we can open up, give each of the instructors here a couple of minutes to either introduce themselves and share with us what are some things they've been thinking about, particularly around their journey, and what they can leave with you in terms of either skills or something concrete that can help you navigate the space. So we can start with Contramestre Toca. Yeah.
Hey, okay. Hey, I'm Contramestre Toca. I've from Mestre Geraldo School in Boston. We're of the lineage Mestre John Picano, but Mestre Geraldo originally started with Mestre Sombra in Santos, which is more Haitian style. But when I started back in 1995, Geraldo really fell in love with Capoeira Angola, and he kind of cut his roots and started just doing Angola. So when I started, it was pretty much, okay, let's learn Angola. It was very interesting because all the other Angola masters like Cobrinha and the whole Fika and everything, they all kind of frowned down on Mestre Geraldo because he, wasn't Fika or of that same thing. He wanted to be there, but he did all these amazing things to bring the old masters from Bahia to America. A lot of the events that people went to back then, those masters were able to come there because of the work that Mestre Geraldo did to get the visas to get those guys there. So yeah, they frowned upon him, but they also benefit from the work that he did. So it's just interesting. You see all the different politics in Capoeira and the egos and the noses that go up and this and that. And I never let that be part of what I take out of Capoeira. When I see the Capoeira, I feel the love for just the movement and the people and the coming together. And it's like you take what you want and you leave the rest. There's a lot of great mestres, but they could also be assholes and treat people poorly or hurt people or do certain things. But you can still learn something from them because, and you can take that and leave the bad part behind. And that's something that I've tried to embody when I learn Capoeira. I don't really want to judge anybody completely and say, oh, that person's bad, I don't want anything to do with them. I give them a piece. Obviously, if somebody, you know, does something to you directly, you can kind of be like, okay, I'm going to stay away from that guy. But like, I've noticed a lot of masters are like, oh, don't talk to that guy, don't talk to this guy. Well, I don't conform to that. I say, let me make my own opinion about that guy before I say he's a bad guy. So that's just something I think about a lot in capoeira, is all the different politics and things that happen. And, you know, I go places and I just come with the love for capoeira, and everywhere I go, it comes back that way if I come that way with it. I bring the love and it comes back. And that's really why I train capoeira and I love capoeira, because it loves me back. It really, it's kind of a selfish thing, actually. It like heals me. So, I don't know, any questions or?
That's a perfect segue, and then we'll have each person sort of introduce themselves, and then we'll come back to some questions. So let's turn it over to Muito Tempo, some words, your experiences, your thoughts.
All right. What's good, y'all? My name is Muito. Good to be here again. I feel like, wait, what's the question again? Sorry.
So we're talking about your experience as, let's call it the first mastery of Ethiopian descent. What was that like? What are some skills that you can share with folks so they can put it into their own toolkits navigating the space as non-Brazilian capoeiristas?
Yeah, you know, I was born and raised in LA. My family's from Ethiopia, both of my parents. And I would say I'm probably one of the weirdest Ethiopians out there, because Ethiopians don't really do capoeira. It's probably like a couple, like a handful that I know of. You know, kid of immigrants, there's different expectations of the children who, you know, are being raised in a different environment. But I would say my father, before he passed, he told me to follow. He told me to do what I love, and the money would follow. And I loved capoeira from a very young age. I was fortunate to have a class in my middle. I was in the 6th grade when I took my first class, and then I found my Mestre's academy when I was like 15. And then I grew up doing martial arts, and I just really loved it. You know, like for me, capoeira has hit a lot of different things. I still love other martial arts. I train other martial arts, but being Black and seeing a Black art form, seeing my Mestre is Amen Santo, who's like has a very strong presence, Black guy. And that was just really huge for me growing up. And it just called me, and I never stopped. Other martial arts I've gone in and out of, and I will continue to do that. But capoeira has always been there for me. And, you know, when I was younger, I thought, man, I don't need to learn Portuguese. I don't need to do this. I just need to be good in capoeira. And then that's going to be the ticket for me to travel and this and that. And as I got older, I was like, man, it's really, obviously training became like one of the first time I went to Brazil when I was like 18, that just like blew my mind. And just the level was so high. And it's not even a thing to be good in capoeira in Brazil. It's like, you know, for me, it's like basketball here. It's like, you know, the homies is good in basketball. It doesn't mean they're going to the NBA. It's just like a lot of people are good at it. And then I just felt like growing up, it became more about making friends. It's like, because we have our community, and then we kind of have like these sub communities where you find the group of teachers that you really click with. And those are the people who, you know, if you bring to your event, or if I go to their event, we're going to create really good energy. It's not about like everybody recognizing me. And because look, it doesn't matter if you're Brazilian or not. There's going to be people who just don't get along. Like, not all Brazilians are cool with each other. Like, same thing. Not all like Americans are cool with each other. Not all Black people are cool with each other. There's a lot of drama everywhere. But you find the crew that you get along with, and we validate each other, you know. And I don't have to agree with what every teacher does in their school. I can just respect the differences in each group, and that's what I feel like I learned. And everybody has their hardships. Like I have mine, and me growing up here, it's gonna be one thing versus, you know, Tigri in Rhode Island and Morena. I don't know, Morena. Last time I saw you were in Dubai, but I don't know where you're at right now. But like, okay, Chegado. Me and Chegado have been in the same city for like so long, but we've probably had very different experiences. Some similar things, but you know, it depends on our life too, and like how we view things, and like how harshly we can take things. I feel like now, at this phase of my life, I try to have more empathy for people. You know, even if they kind of do me wrong, I'll be like, where is this coming from? It doesn't mean that I have to be best friends with them. I'm like, all right, they kind of on some kind of like craziness right now, but that probably has to do with some trauma that they went through. And I don't have to engage in that, but I also don't have to be like, oh, this mother, you know, it's like, that's just kind of like poisonous to myself. So, but I'm sure I wasn't like that like 15 years ago. You know, we were like, oh, it's about to go down in the Huda or something like that. But, you know, you kind of move on past those things.
Thank you, Muito Tempo. Really appreciate that. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Contramestre Tabareu, and then we'll hear from Mestre Gaivota. Let me, whatever, you want me to tell you what to say?
The script, where's my script? And I'm writing
Here,
scripts for a while.
take my notes.
Mostly blank papers. Yeah. I went blank now. When Toca, I don't know. For those of you that don't know, I started Capoeira with Contramestre Toca. Obviously, he wasn't 25, 26 years ago. And
Hey, Tava, can you speak up a little? Get closer to the microphone. Yes, thank you.
no, so I'm saying I started Capoeira with Toca. We go way back. We're old school. And interestingly enough, Muito Tempo's Mestre played I only met him once, but he played a big part in my love for Capoeira just because he wasn't only the strong. And it was like, that was the movie for me. That was it. It's the best movie in the world as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, and that dragged me to Capoeira. So it's cool how we're here, like Toca's here, Muito Tempo's here, and there's this weird connections, you know, that we have. You know, for me, like Toca said, it's Capoeira is like medicine, right? It's my medicine. It's what I use to feel better, to heal myself. And I could have been doing other things out of high school. I could have been playing football. I could have been doing any other high school sport. But I found Capoeira right at the perfect time, where it kept me away from a lot of stuff. I mean, Toca knows we used to be in the projects all the time, playing Capoeira in the projects. That's where I started. And it could have gone down a bad route, you know. There was a lot of influence in high school to not do the right thing. But Capoeira helps so much, you know. And I bring up only the strong a lot because it's such a cool connection, you know. I wasn't fighting gangsters with guns, but there was a lot of gangs around, and I could have gone that route, you know. Instead, I was with my friends playing Capoeira. I lived in Brazil for a little while, and that was very interesting, being the what do they call me? The gringo, right? And in my head, gringo is like something else, you know? So I was like, I'm not a gringo, what are you talking about? But they meant foreigner, right? And it was interesting because I was trying to see how much I could fool people to think that I was Brazilian, you know? And then I'll bust out like, you're not Brazilian? I'm like, no, of course not. But yeah, guys, I don't know what else to say. You know, Capoeira is one of those things that you have friends even on the moon, you know, wherever there's somebody that's doing Capoeira, that's your family, right? Whether it's Angola, it doesn't matter. You play berimbau, there's that love there, you know, and like Toca said, it loves you back. independent of what people's gripes and whatever, you know, people have issues, like Muito Tempo said, not everybody gets along, you know, but Capoeira itself, you know, has a lot of love.
Thank you, Tabareu. And of course, we're going to circle back to specific questions, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mestre Gaivota. All right, guys, I'm wearing a lot of hats today here. So,
Tech Master 1212.
we're doing a different Mestre Gaivota.
But it's great. You know, I think that the most amazing thing is community, and the wonderful things of the words that were said today. You know, everyone has already covered all of the really important parts about Capoeira and the community and the family that we're all such a big part of. And we all had such different paths to get where we are today, to being in a community together with each other. You know, in my earlier, younger days, my 20s, I was a cage fighter. I was one of those guys that went in, the bare knuckle, we beat each other up. And people will always tell you that story of how Capoeira saved their life. And Capoeira saved mine because it got me out of cage fighting. I found myself in Brazil in the late 90s and falling in love, as Mestre Muito said, with this African art form that actually spoke to my soul, so much different than what I was doing, which just spoke to my emotions of being aggressive. And Capoeira made me into a better person. And my background has been education. I've been an educator for most of my life. And so I jumped into every book that I could find on Capoeira. All of my trips to Brazil were spent not just training in academies, but going to bookstores and record stores. And the young people in Capoeira today don't really know how good you have it. Until you had to listen to your Capoeira music on a cassette tape, you just don't know what it was like. And then our books were actually the magazines, the revistas, and then we finally got more stuff. And so my words to people today would be some of the same words that you've already heard. As Mestre Muito said, you know, you train at home and whatever you're doing is right. When you go to the academy, you follow the rules of that room, of that house, of that teacher. But everyone walks their own path in Capoeira. Everyone's drawn to the things that they love, whether it's the music, the movement, the dance, the history, the magic of it all. You come here for whatever works for you, and you stay here for the love that we all give each other. My suggestion to every single person that's growing in Capoeira is to find the path that you really want to walk. Pick the thing in the art that you love the most and jump into it. My caution to everyone in the world of Capoeira is, you know, now that there's a lot of information out there, it's not all good information. You want to check your sources as best you can. Get as close to the roots as you possibly can. Learn as much as you can. Take it back. Find the source, make sure it's a good source, check it out with your teacher and say, oh, is this really a good source? And see if it works for what you do. And a last point, you know, everyone, thank you for coming today. It's all about community. It's all about love. And I love all of you for being part of this community. Ashe.
Thank you, Master Gaivota. And we are going to have a few others. So for the panel, we had a few of us joining Muito Tempo, but I know that Chegado has some thoughts. We also have Instrutora Quachi, who is a US-born capoeirista, to bring in a different perspective. So let me just, I'm not going to actually speak for very long at all, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. As a non-Brazilian capoeirista, I was born and raised in the Cape Verdean Islands off the west coast of Africa. I came here, and Brazil was always something very important to Cape Verdeans because they're like our big sister. We went through the same colonization process by Portugal. The official language of Cape Verde is Portuguese. Almost every Cape Verdean home has a Brazilian flag, especially during the times of soccer championships. We start to wave it around because we want a very similar institution to win. And then coming here to the United States, much like what a lot of people already said, an Afro-centric martial art just really spoke to me. But in terms of this piece around navigational tools, I want to speak about two things. This idea of self-care versus community care, and a bit about mentorship and how important that is in this journey. And I'm talking about mentorship beyond, say, your particular instructor. Sometimes you need to find someone that can help you process information as you have different experiences. So self-care versus community care. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this idea of Ubuntu, which is a virtually almost the entire continent of African sort of concept around taking care of the community. I am because you are, and you are because I am. And I want to put that idea of community care right next to self-care, because in the United States, and I'm guessing other places, people usually say, you know, you need to self-care, you need to take care of yourself, go do what you got to do, and then come back when you're ready. And I was raised with this idea of you go take care of yourself so that you can come back and take care of other people as well. And Capoeira has served as that community, and I have reached out to colleagues over the years. These are the folks that have actually helped me stay connected, because very often you feel very alone when you're in a group, an event, and every instructor is of a particular ethnicity. And then they turn to you and they're like, oh, you're not Brazilian. That, oh, you're not Brazilian in this space can be kind of isolating and marginalizing. So I think what I had to start doing was reaching out to other instructors, even those who are actually not, they were actually lower grade, if you will, or they had a lower rank, but to just connect with people that can help me process different experiences. Because one thing that I did not want to allow happen was for other people, individuals in this community to make me second guess my love for capoeira. I've been doing capoeira since 1991. This year in June makes 30 years. And it's been sort of up and down. And a constant here has been, sometimes I would just call that one other non-Brazilian person that was in that instructor team and just say, hey, can we sit down for 5 minutes and just have a conversation? Because I need your energy to keep me going. I think mentorship is a really important piece. Sometimes just having a space to bounce ideas off of somebody else who's in a very similar situation can help you navigate those spaces in a very different way. So I just wanted to highlight those pieces. Let's continue taking care of each other, because that is the only way that we can go beyond some of those individual incidences that can make us second guess ourselves and make us second guess what capoeira should mean to us, because no one should be able to tell you that, right? This is something you do for yourself. I don't do capoeira for somebody else. I come and train when I'm injured. I come and train when I'm tired. I come and teach when I'm tired, because this is something that is actually mutually benefit. I actually learn from my students just as I think they learn from me. So I'll pause here and kind of turn it over if there's any other instructor here who would like to add something. We have Professora Garza in the house. We have Instructora Quachi. I would love to have other voices here. I'm not pushing anyone to speak, but if you have something to contribute, feel free to unmute yourself and just throw a tidbit, open it up for some.
Can I say something?
Go for it.
So, you know, because I'm a white guy in this Afro-Brazilian martial art, that becomes awkward at points, you know, because I'm very white, and then, you know, it can throw the vibe off. And then there's this whole talk about cultural appropriation, and I hear that, and then I'm like, am I a cultural appropriator? And I don't know the right answer. I just know that I love capoeira and I'm there, and I just try and respect the elders that are there, acknowledge them and the history, and try and not like take that and make it my Cobra Kai capoeira. I just wanted to just point that out, the whole cultural appropriation thing. You know, I'm not the most articulate person to talk about it, but it's just something that comes up in my mind. And so I just wanted to, as we're talking about Americans and capoeira, it's something that's worth discussing.
I appreciate you acknowledging that. And I think that's already the first step, is just saying, okay, I'm aware of this conversation and welcome people to have a conversation with me. Other thoughts or anyone that would like to jump into here? I see Chegado's both
I'll
hands.
jump in. Hello. I want to say about what Toca just said. There's a very distinct difference between appropriation and appreciation. And I think that if we are appreciating the culture, then that is where that's where we can really begin to grow from it. Taking something and changing it and appropriating it is very different than really loving something and appreciating it and wanting to highlight the best parts of it. And I think that that comes in for a lot of us who are not non-Brazilian capoeiristas here. I'm from the Bay Area. I started capoeira after years of high school wrestling and Muay Thai. And I found capoeira through my mom, who was looking for movement classes for theater. It was really the performance aspect and the character that capoeira created that really attracted me to our sport. I continued to be an actor and work and try to use capoeira as my own personal toolbox. I really have felt throughout my journey that I could always come back to capoeira to help me build a new part of myself, there was some sort of moment-to-moment work or character development work that I was finding was so clear coming out of capoeira that I wasn't getting other places. My personal family is Creole. Both my mom and father came from are in the Bay Area, but my grandparents are all from Louisiana. They grew up speaking French. I grew up going to Zadikos, and my parents met at a Zadiko, which is like a big French festival. So the feeling of being other has always been sort of part of my experience of sort of being Black, being African American Black, but also being this type of Black, this Creole type of Black. My grandparents were very different with other African Americans than they were with other Creole people. There are subsets within our larger groups, and I always found that capoeira helped to give me a pride in being in choosing an art form that was different than what everybody else had looked for or had found. It wasn't Taekwondo. It wasn't Jiu-Jitsu. It was something that was like very, very difficult to find. And so my search and finding it made me feel like this was meant for me to be a part of. And I never looked back. I never, my wife is Brazilian, but American Brazilian, but she would, but when we were together, they always think that I'm the Brazilian one and she is and she is the gringa, right? All the time. So they always give me like, oh, and then I get the thing that was talked about earlier of, oh, you're not Brazilian? Oh, for real? But that always kind of made me like you said, you kind of try to sneak how your Brazilianness for as long as you can until you're like, nah, I'm not Brazilian, dog. No, I'm from the Bay. We don't do that. But you try to do you do, because you're trying to fit in, and you're trying to we wear lots of different masks, and that is one of the characters that we play for as long as we can until we're kind of found out. So I never thought that being discovered that I wasn't Brazilian, it was almost like I did a good job enough at trying to be Brazilian that I got at least a pat on the back from the other Brazilians that were there. But that's it. I've had like Muito said, we've been in the same place for many years and probably have had many different experiences, but have always led us back to the same thing, and that is that Capoeira has been a source of health and healing and mental stability for all of us. So I just want to leave it at that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. I'm going to talk to Professora Garza, and then we have Professor Compasso as well. So let me switch over.
Hi, everybody. I don't want to look at myself. Okay, now I can see everyone. That's better. I guess a year of training, mostly by myself and also having a kid, has made me think a lot about like the ego and just the way that, like, when you start doing capoeira, the longer you do it, you kind of start seeing a lot of things through the lens of capoeira, or at least I do. I kind of understand, I like think about how the world of capoeira works, and then I can put that onto other experiences. But my point with the whole ego thing was just when you're training, you're thinking about yourself all the time. How can I improve myself? How can I look good? How can I get stronger? But then to make it into the game, the beautiful game that we love, you have to remove that again because you're with another person or you're with a whole bunch of other people. So it's kind of like a good exercise or lesson to be applying to your life over and over again, that yes, you're important and you need to think about developing your skills and being confident and trying to be successful at what you're trying to do, but ultimately you're fitting into a big framework, and that's where like the really beautiful moments that stick in my mind of capoeira are. It's when you're with other people and something bigger than yourself happens. That's it.
Thank you, Garza. It was wonderful. Compasso, take it away, bro.
Hi, everybody. First of all, much love to Selo. I know that we're all here because of him, and so I just wanted to say what we're all thinking and feeling, that we love him better soon. He spent one of our events. He spent the night here in this room, and so that's one of the reasons why I'm here. You know, so lots of feelings.
You want more stickers?
I do want more. So I raised my hand because just a real quick history. I started capoeira in 2001 in Japan, of all places, and I was my first bachizado. My first rank was in Japan by genetically he's a Japanese man, but he's really a Brazilian man, and he was the one that gave me my name Compasso. So I've been doing this for a little while now, and I did all sorts of Asian martial arts because, you know, I grew up doing Taekwondo because I'm Korean. I did Kendo for a while. I did all these other, you know, Asian things, and I really loved them. I think I could have done them all my life. But when I lived in Japan, of all places, you would think that I want to do Japanese martial arts, and I tried, and I did, and I liked it. But it was, I happened to come across a capoeira roda, and I fell in love. I have never looked back since then. I've never looked, and I do miss Taekwondo and I do miss Kendo, but I will never ever stop capoeira. And my daughter has been playing capoeira with me. This is my daughter Amina, and we've been playing capoeira this morning. So what I wanted to share was that one of the reasons why I started capoeira is because, not because it was an Afro-Brazilian thing, but because it was something so rich and beautiful. And it was an evolution in progress. And the Asian martial arts always talk about how, we have thousands of years of lineage and this art and stuff. And I have, you know, tattooed on my chest the secret technique that my master handed down to me. And I have a license showing this secret technique. And if I touch you with my pinky, I'm going to kill you and all that stuff, right? We don't really have that in capoeira. And thank goodness, because it's so much BS. What we have are people who love this stuff so much that we're willing to entrust a foreigner with this art, make them a mestre or a mestra, and entrust them to carry forward these traditions and create it anew. And so I love this event today. Mestre, Muito Tempo, Contramestre, Toca, Chegado, Mestre, you guys all like are carrying forward the flag, but it's not like we're just kind of doing whatever the hell we want. We are choosing to do what we would like to do with capoeira and make it something that is both honoring the roots, but also making it into something new. We're trying to keep an evolution. And you know, I've been doing this for about 20 years now. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm trying my best. I can't write songs. I can barely kick anymore nowadays. I love this. And I just wanted to say that being an other is not necessarily a bad thing, but how important it is to remember what the roots are from. It's so important that we talk about where we come from, not just in terms of our personal history, but our collective history. So it's so important that we have mestres, that we have people that we can rely upon for that knowledge, for our roots. But we can't forget about leaves either. The branches have to go out. We have to renew. We have to grow. We have to make and plant other seeds and other create more roots. So I just wanted to say, to people who are concerned, I almost quit a few times because I felt like I didn't belong. I'm an Asian person doing capoeira. There's not many of us out there. And if we do, we're tourists. We're not really disciples. But when I see people who really love it so much that they keep doing it, it's because they honor the roots and they want to really be living in the capoeira tradition. And for people who felt like they don't belong, hang in there. Hang in there. Because after a while, it'll seep into your blood and you'll have kids who want to play capoeira with you in the morning and things like that, crazy things like that happen. I still dream about capoeira, and this is why I'm here today. I do actually have to go because she wants me to do stuff with her. And I just want to say thank you all for this event. Much love to Selo. Thank you, Tigri, for organizing this event.
Thank you, Compasso. I think you just exemplified a lot of the things that we've been trying to talk about. Is that just stick in there. You have each other. You have other people. Don't forget your roots. And Manjigueiros Palmares is extremely lucky to have you as a disciple. Let me turn it over to Instructora Quachi.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to add just a few things about my journey within capoeira. I've been practicing now for about 16 years. I started very late in life. I was, well, I guess not that late, but 27 years old. I actually saw a demonstration that Grupo Ondas was doing at a kickboxing event, and I've been a dancer since I was 5 years old. So when I started dancing in the dance world, at least the style of dancing that I grew up doing, when you hit like 18, 19 years old, you were old for the dance world, at least back then. So when I saw Grupo Ondas do a demonstration, I was just amazed by, I was like, what are they doing? This totally looks like the dancing that I grew up doing, but with different music. And it was absolutely beautiful. And, you know, I love that Muito Tempo mentioned, you know, your first capoeira class was in 6th grade middle school. And I feel privileged that the director of my school, I'm a school nurse by day, and I actually taught it for a physical education class. And, you know, the kids thought it was a little odd at first, but then there was a few that actually came to the academy and they were able to do capoeira with us. And I hope to get them back after the pandemic because they had such potential. It's definitely been some challenges, you know, just staying in it because I'm such a busy woman with my jobs. I have a few jobs. I'm going back to grad school. I've had 3 babies along the way. One of the things, though, that continues to pull me back to it is the music, the way the music makes me feel. And I've heard from many of you in the way it heals you. And music touches me, and I'm sure many other people, in such a way that when I haven't practiced capoeira for a little while because I'm taking care of other responsibilities, as soon as that berimbau plays and the certain rhythm of the way it makes me feel and I just want to move, it's like it calls to me and it makes me miss it so much. And then I get back into that mode again. And one of the things that I love about it so much is the people that I have met, the minds that I have met, the intellect is amazing. One of my favorite workshops I've ever taken was from Professor Compasso, and the way he was able to explain just about confidence within the way you play. I was really struggling with staying motivated within capoeira, and when I went to Canada, in Contramestre Pavao, when she was teaching, just touched me in a way that it literally, I know it sounds silly, but it brought tears to my eyes just because of the way she moved and the impact she had on me. And it totally, like, as you guys were saying, charged me up to try to get better again and to get back into it. And with events like this, it really recharges me, and that community that many of us are missing this past year, you know, and I just hope we can get back to that soon. So that's what I wanted to share.
Much appreciated. Thank you. I think we're kind of already made quite a list of things that are really important conversations that you need to have. You know, and resilience is not something that just needs to be instilled in one person. Resiliency, tenacity is something of a community. I feel like I can go to events and face difficult odds when I know other people are there to support me. One against whatever number, when you feel alone, it can really get in the way of progress. And again, part of the reason why we're doing this event is to show that we're here together, be in solidarity with one another, and for someone that we care about, who's also gone through some of these very same kinds of challenges. So I don't know if we maybe have time for a couple of other comments or questions. I see Muito Tempo has his hand up. Maybe Muito Tempo, just so we can be respectful of people's times. We mentioned that this would go from 1 to 4. We're gonna give Muito Tempo the last word here. I wanna thank again all of the instructors for your contribution. Sometimes just coming in and saying that 1, 2, 3 sentences can really change people's perspective and give them a very different angle through which to experience capoeira. So thank you all for your attendance. Let's turn it over to Muito Tempo, who's been a great sport today through 3 hours. We were worried about people staying for the 3 hours, but it happened because it moves so fast and we're all so passionate about this. For the next one, it's gonna happen at the end of May. I'm hoping that as a personal goal, we double the number or triple the number, because this is really valuable time that we need to spend together. So let's encourage people to come on. I dropped the GoFundMe link on the chat. If you're able to contribute, fantastic. If there are other people that are able to support Selo, please do that. Thank you all. Let me turn this over to Muito Tempo to take us away.
Very quickly, I just want to say thank you again, Tigri, for organizing everybody involved. This is so great. Terrible circumstance for us to come together like this, but turned into something amazing, you know, where we can support a good friend and just connect with each other. I was saying earlier how when I was younger, I was like, oh, if you just get good enough, you don't need anything else. You just, you know, I would say we were talking about like some tools that you can take away. I really do think speaking Portuguese is very crucial. Now, you know, I would say very beneficial, if not crucial, you know, for you as a capoeirista, if you want to take it seriously. I'm not saying, oh, you're never going to get anywhere, but it's just, one, I think there's a big disconnect because of communication. So it's like, if you can't communicate with people, it's very hard to connect with them. And then a lot of capoeira has an oral tradition. So a lot of songs are teaching history through the songs. There's like literal breakdowns of what things meant in different parts of the world. And I feel like you're gonna miss out a lot. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, but like at least like a conversational level. And I think to get to that point, you have to be okay with kind of looking foolish, right? Because it's not gonna be perfect for a while. So you have to be okay with people kind of just like, you know, smiling when you make your mistake. It's the same thing when you make a mistake in movement. But I really think it would be beneficial, whether it be for music or just communicating with teachers, because that is the language of capoeira, is Portuguese, you know? So I think that's just a beneficial takeaway. But Chegado, were you gonna say something? You unmuted yourself.
I was gonna say, absolutely, don't wait on your Portuguese. You gotta work on it. It is something that is so, I personally waited too long, and I still struggle every day. It's one of the hardest parts about capoeira to me is speaking Portuguese. and it takes me, it's a mental like Rubik's Cube that I have to work on all the time. Otherwise I start to lose it again, and I'll get a little bit and then I'll lose it again, and I'll get a little bit and I'll lose some more. You know what I mean? So I have to keep on adding to it so that I feel like I'm not missing out on things like because those conversations that happen after the Roda are sometimes the best learning experiences that you can have. Are those, it's what happens after when everybody's just hanging out and chilling. That's when some of the real workshops start. So yeah, I just wanted to chime in. Right. Yeah, absolutely.
No, that's what I think you just throw yourself into it. I sold caipirinhas in Bahia for a little while, like when I was, one of the times that I was living there. And it was like, if I could get people to just believe, I was like, okay, little, and then I'll say thank you after in English, and they were like, oh, you speak English good. And I was like, good. My Portuguese is getting a little bit better. But just have fun, take it as a part of your movement training or your music training. But that's all I wanted to say. I didn't have like a closing statement. So Tigri, if you want to say something to end it, please take it away.
I want to add to you guys' point on how it's really important. You know, capoeira has so many different levels to it, right? Like an onion, or you know, something like that. Sometimes you smell in capoeira, it's fine. Sometimes it smells like onions. But there's so many different layers to it, you know, that you could just go into capoeira and do movement, and that'll take you forever to figure out, because it's like there's so many things, there's so many different ways of moving, so many different styles of moving, so many different schools of thoughts of moving, right? And then there's like the berimbau and the bateria, and that could take you forever just on that one little bit, because there's so many different talkies and there's so many different ways and variations, etc. And now you got to put those together. And then there's the singing in another language, and you put that on top. And then there's like acrobatic moves that you don't necessarily have to do, but that's boom, that's another layer. And so there's so many different things. It's like, how do you focus on everything? And how do you grasp the whole entire thing as a whole, right? And then you have like regional and Angola, and how do you get a grip on all of that stuff, right? And learn another language on top of it. It's insane, right? It's only capoeira be asking you to do crazy things like this. So, but it is super important, because there's a whole level of capoeira that if you don't speak Portuguese, you are out of the loop. Out of the loop. Things like, there's like battles with songs and stuff. People freestyle songs in the rodas. People communicate with music in the roda. They'll tell you something. They'll give you a task, you know, and you might be out of the loop. Something happens in the roda and you're confused as to what's going on or why it's going on, you know, and it's part of that break in communication. So I would say at the very minimum, you should at least know what you're singing about if you're gonna sing. Right? You're in capoeira, there's music, you sing it, you sing Paranauê. At least learn the definition of what those words inside of each particular, then you start to build on it, right? You start adding your layers of, and before you know it, you know, make it a habit to say, you know, good evening, goodbye, whatever in Portuguese when you arrive at the school, you know, little tiny things, give yourself, hold yourself accountable. You know what I mean? Because you have to. Right? If you want to progress, it's a whole nother world. Once you start understanding a little bit of Portuguese, the music starts to change for you. It starts to mean different things. You know, you start finding different meanings in it. And I think that's really, really important, you know, you don't have to have perfect Portuguese, right? You don't have to have, that's hard. That's a lot of things to ask of somebody. But it's not impossible. And if you never take that first step, who's going to take it for you? I can speak it, right? But I can't speak for you. So, you know, you're going to sound like a fool. So what? It's like when you started capoeira, how ridiculous did you look with the arm in the wrong side and all this other thing, you know? We all look silly, so none of us look silly, right? We all sound weird, so none of us sound weird. You have to take that first step. And whether it's, if you have to like just focus on, oi, sim, oi, no, figure out what that means. That's fine, right? Now you got that down, check, next, bring it in. But don't just sing songs in capoeira without knowing what you're talking about, because you can find yourself in situations that you might not want to. But anyways, music is important, songs are important, language is important, movement's important. onions are important. That's all.
All right, so again, thank you everyone for being here today. This piece around the Portuguese language is super important. So we'll maybe have another session on this, because I gotta tell you something. In the United States, if you're following curriculum to learn Portuguese in the United States, you're probably not gonna do very well. Because I'll give you an example. In the United States, here's the statistics. You can take a language for 10 years and not be able to hold a conversation. Did you know that? You can go through 10 years of school and not learn how to have the conversation. There's a preoccupation with things like grammar. What we need is to like improve a vocabulary, just like when you first come in, kind of immerse yourself into the language. If you come to someone and be like, hey, bathroom, I need. Cool, I got what your point. Our goal is to communicate and start that journey and be okay with making mistakes. In the United States, we're taught that mistakes are bad and that we should be ashamed of not speaking perfectly anything. And there's this language snobbery that exists in the United States through English that makes people very, very uncomfortable with trying out new things. But I'm gonna leave you guys with two thoughts. One is English went through a creolization process. You can learn Portuguese through English because English is a French Creole. A lot of people don't know that. High school English teachers don't teach that. And so you're just left trying to learn English as it is, and it's become almost impossible to make a transition into Portuguese. So some of you are already like, oh, I see all of these like similarities. Well, there's a reason for that, but that's for another day. Since we are wrapping up, I'm going to go ahead and give Desconfiado to us here, Besouro Atlas, who was a student of Ondas here in Rhode Island for a long time, and now is in California. We want to congratulate him for winning the World Capoeira Federation solo. And so, you know, it's awesome. A lot of people showed up to vote and guide them through that process. So congratulations. Thank you, everyone, again. Much love, and we will see you soon. You can unmute, and let's give everyone a round of applause and finish up. Yo, yo, yo. Great to see y'all. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo. Yo, 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 yo.